Okay, so this is going to be an honest reaction video. I've actually seen this video already, but I'm going to show my sister and then we'll tell you what we think. This video is on Mediatakeout.com. It's a video of a black male going into the H&M, and we'll tell you what he did in just a minute. Oh, where's the sound? Are you watching?
What the hell is he doing?
He said, "Fuck H&M."
Oh, snap.
Okay,
Because of the racist little black gorilla shit.
Yes. Okay. So, the caption says, "First an H&M manager was threatened in Paris. Now the violence has spread to New York City. Yesterday, a man described as a New York City goon knocked down a rack of clothes inside a busy H&M store on Broadway, all while yelling, 'Fuck H&M.'"
Oh my God, he remind me of Boom Gang, whole lot of gang shit.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Do you think he's justified in how he feels? Do you think H&M deserves it, doesn't deserve it? Do you think...
Nah, they hella ratchet for that. He didn't have to do that. But that's just how people react nowadays, being hella ratchet. I don't know. I don't understand it, but hey, whatever. He probably feel real justified. He probably don't. He probably try to figure out what he about to do next.
I feel like this is just another example of
Why they call us hella ghetto?
no, not why they call us hella ghetto, but just another example of white people always wanting to be the victim. You know, like they'll shoot and kill somebody, and then like, you know, you'll throw a rock and like bust their car window, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you busted my car window!" And it's like,
that's only because it's probably the same. That's not the same person that just shot and killed somebody.
right, but still, like, just as a unit, like how they move, like they're just always like, every time we're like express any type of outrage, any type of injustice, it's always like thoroughly examined and questioned, and you know, we're told that like, you know, we're doing too much. We're the ones being racist by always calling attention to it. You know, they'll say that, you know, I've seen things on Facebook like, you call your own kids monkeys. You know, you dress your kids in monkey stuff anyway.
That's what they saying?
Yeah, like a lot of people are justifying it. Like, there's like this internalized racism where at this point in like 2018, like there is a group of black people that feel like, yes, they are monkeys. Like there's a group of black people that just, they've internalized the racism so much that they like embraced it. Like somebody pointed out that there's a whole clothing line with like little 8 gorillas on it, and it's an expensive line, and you know, a lot of like celebrities wear it and everything. And I think that like, you know, anytime we see somebody like this, somebody who's like not with it, who's like, who, you know, has enough self-respect to know that like that's not okay, you know, like you don't do that to a child. We see that person as like wild, out of control, and ratchet or ghetto, whatever, because he's not with the programming, like he's not with the system. You know, like people are looking at him like, you don't know how the system works, like you're outraged at that, like you haven't been here long enough, like this is how America is, this is what they do, you know. But it doesn't mean you have to accept it. It doesn't mean you can't go in the store and knock shit down. What are they gonna do? Is that against the law to knock down
not
things?
against the law. It's just hella
Is that hurting anybody? Like, okay, they're upset. You're upset too. Everybody's upset. Like, I feel like, you know, every time we do something, it's oh so horrible. It's like, we're the worst people in the world.
Individual
It's just
last
taken
blue.
way, 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 way out of proportion.
Can you
And
open this?
the original, the original reason this all popped off, it just kind of gets lost in the sauce. Like, people forget that, like, there was a child involved. There's other children watching to see how this plays out. There's a group of people who have spent a lot of money to, quote, keep us in our place. And they spend a lot of money to teach our new generation where they should be and what their place is. Because you got to think about it, slavery is over. So if it wasn't for white people keep reinforcing white supremacy and keep programming our children would grow up as free people, not knowing that they were seen as any less than anybody else. But white people have to teach children that they're not humans. Will teach black children that they're not full humans. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what slavery is about. You got to remember, they taught the slaves their property, that they're animals, that they were treated like cattle, like they were bought and sold, and in their own little way, like, they have to teach that to, like, each and every new generation that comes up, because if they don't, then the whole system would fall apart. So anytime somebody like this, rebels in this way, even though he's just an individual, he didn't hurt anybody, etc., like, the whole establishment, like, this whole army is, like, against him. Like, you're just so wrong. You're just, so out of line or whatever. Like, what is that going to do? How is that going to help anything? We have to be better than them. We have to show them we're excellent, all that kind of stuff. We have to take the high road. That's petty. That's this, that's that, But anytime you see injustice, you should turn up. He happened to live by an H&M, you know what I'm saying? And he probably sees black people in that store, you know what I'm saying? And, he wanted this to go viral. I'm doing this video to try to help him out, and raise awareness and let people know that. See, another thing is, without social media, these types of things wouldn't even be shown. They're not going to show us rejecting the system. They're not going to show us being rebellious. They're not going to show us being free people. They're not going to show us in our true element. So, this is just going to be a little blog thing, and then it's just going to kind of go away. But it's important for you to, like, really open your eyes and realize that people not only are waking up, but people are resisting and rejecting the system and opting out of it, and all type of people are opting out of jobs, opting out of this, opting out of that, opting out of banks, opting out of all that kind of stuff. And even though, you still may see a lot of programming, you may think like, oh no, we're going backwards. It's like, no, actually we're moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be more of these types of stories. Like, the stories are only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until they hit the mainstream news. Like, people are going to start tearing these companies up because at the end of the day, people are starting to realize that these companies don't care about them. The same companies that they've spent so much money with, that they've worked for so long, like, they're going to start seeing that these companies don't care anything about them. And I think there's going to come a point where people are going to have to choose between their own self-interest and the establishment, because it's going to be a time where the establishment no longer serves your own best interests. Right now, we're in a situation where it's still serving a lot of people. The setup that we're in, it still serves a lot of people. Like, it's still doing a lot of people well. Like, capitalism and all that kind of good stuff, like, it's still working for a lot of people, so much so that they're still holding the system up. But there's a transition happening where the establishment is starting to work for less and less and less and less people. And the establishment is actually turning on its own people. And so as that continues to happen, we're going to see more and more situations like this where people are ready to go head to head with whoever, We've seen this in all kinds of other countries. A lot of people don't think that it can happen here in America, but I've seen where we were close. I've seen so many moments where we were so close, like we were close to to everybody running in stores and knocking everything over, riots everywhere, fires everywhere. Like, we were so close. And, you know, I'm going to end this video because now I'm just rambling like I do. But I will say, we need to think about this. We need to think about our response to injustice. We need to think about how far we're willing to go. We need to think about if we support people like this or not, and why. And we need to be prepared for chaos. We need to be prepared to be in public spaces and things just happening like this. And we need to be mindful that there are consequences to going against the establishment. So when you do something like this, like, you have to be ready. Like, this man didn't have no clothes on. Like, he was hyped up. I feel like he was ready for whatever was about to happen to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went out in a way where he felt like he didn't have nothing to lose, you know? But you definitely don't want to do something like that on your lunch break at work, when you're with a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything like that. You know, you definitely want to pick and choose your battles and be thoughtful. And that's all I'll say. Do you want to say anything else about the video?
About the video, I feel like there could have been another way that he could have handled that. He could have definitely petitioned, things of that nature, boycotted it, went in there and said, y'all don't shop here, they racist, you know. Say something about their labor, how they get their clothes from China, and they get minimum low wage, like 50 cents, maybe a penny. You know what I'm saying? He could do this in a lot of different ways, but he wants to be ratchet like my sister likes. Some people just bust out doing some shit. So, I don't know. It's whatever.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you later. Bye.